Hi, everybody. It's Karen with Recover from Codependency, and I am with CindyMazzaferro, whom I absolutely adore. I read her book. She's just got it going on with this type of recover from codependency. And Cindy is a #1 Amazon bestseller. She's an energy intuitive healer. She has the powerful Beyond Measure life coach, motivational speaker. She has a lot going on. So welcome, Cindy.
Hi, how are you, Karen? I'm delighted to be here.
Thank you. So talk about yourself. How did you get into all of this?
Well, I think in some ways we're all codependent on something. Even our negative thoughts, we're dependent on them because we love to have them show up so we can not be glowing, not to be out there in a big way. And often we limit ourselves. And so we kind of create that codependency on either other people, beliefs, expectations. So it can really be impactful. It can really set you up for a negative life and feeling so undervalued, unloved. And then that often creates the unhealthiness that we have in our life too.
Absolutely. So for those that are hearing the word codependency, maybe for the first time, how would you describe that? How do you know that you might be in that realm?
Great question. Codependency is really about depending on others or other situations or their behaviors to satisfy something in your being. So let me give you an example. If you're actually, let's say, not well, you're physically not well, and you rely on your family to come over and provide meals and company, and you kind of like that because I get to see my children, or I get to see my girlfriends, or this is pretty nice. I don't have to do a whole lot. I can let them do my wash and let them take care of my house and make my meal preps, and I can just sit here and just take all this love in. So you're codependent on them for your living. Now you might say, but I'm not feeling well. I have a broken hip, or I have, I want to see my children, they should want to come see me. And all that's true, but you're coming at it from a different point of view. Your children would love to come over and see you where it's not that you're being needy, where they need to come over and help you, but they want to come over because they enjoy your company. They see you excelling and thriving and getting up from that broken hip. And now you're ready to get back engagement in your life, go to bingo, go to your book clubs, go to dancing, whatever it might be, but that you're living a wonderful life and that your children would much rather come over and see you having a wonderful life than being in this depleted state of physical poor health.
Whatever it is, it doesn't even have to sometimes probably be poor health. It can just be you're doing the pity party, poor me, come and see me.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So you might want to know what mine might have been. And I would never have actually probably called it codependency. But for me, when I was a young child at 7, my parents divorced. So we have over 60% of all marriages end up almost in divorce now. And how many more don't get divorced but are still in happy parenting and relationships? So you have that energy drama in their family. So for me, as I grew up, I didn't have that father. And all I wanted my whole life was having a male, primarily male, but it could be even women, people affirming me, telling me I'm great, I'm wonderful. I would love that father. I'm a wonderful daughter. Oh, you're apple of my eye. Walk me down the aisle, and all those wonderful cushy things that a daughter would want their father to say to them. Well, I never had that. And so I was a resilient physical therapist. I also owned my own business, and I went into industry, educated men, how to lift and redesign work sites. So I had all these men affirming me, patting me on the shoulder, saying, you're doing a great job, and really looked up to me. But inside me, there was still this thirst of, why would someone walk out of my life? What would I do wrong? How come they weren't there for me? So, unbeknownst to myself, until I was an adult woman, thinking I had rationalized this and said, oh, well, good thing I didn't need my father. He left us, probably was a good thing anyways. And I'd still have tears in my eyes because I really missed that absence of him. But even when I was an adult and I was married, 25 years plus, my husband came down one day and said to me, I love you, but I can't live with you anymore. I was like, oh my gosh, it's like my father's walking out of my life again, but now it's my husband. So I'm like, this is just too coincidental. Now, of course, I didn't think of this at the moment. Earth was shaking beneath my feet. What do you mean? How can you leave this? To death do us part. We have a beautiful house. We're financially secure. All the reasons that we should still be together. What do you mean you can walk out? I just didn't understand that. How can you just throw me away again? And so what I started to realize was that we carry things with us from our childhood years, our perceptions of what we need. For me, I needed that confirmation that I was adored, that I was valued, that I was seen, and that they wanted to be part of my life and stay part of my life. For others, it might be you can't trust people. Maybe you've been abused emotionally, physically, spiritually, mentally abused. Whatever it is, we take something on and we bring it into our adult lives. And that pattern continues. So for me, I was actually depending on my husband to say on a daily basis how great I was. And guess what? No matter how many times he said it in different ways, it just went like right through because it still would never be enough. Because this is what I needed to learn and grow about. I needed to learn. I didn't need someone filling up my love tank like the gas station. Tom, my husband's going to tell me how great I am, how great I am, how great I am, and does wonderful things for me in my house, in my love, my life. Okay? But it was always like, the poor guy must have felt, my gosh, she needs me all the time, telling her, like it's just never enough. And so I was exhausting him without ever realizing I was doing this. To me, I was like, well, can't you just be emotional? Can't you just tell me how you feel? As a woman might say to a male, right? Tell me how you feel. Well, how many times do they have to tell you how they feel? Men don't function like that. And it wasn't just with my husband. I mean, it's all people that they're in our lives because we're learning and growing the lessons that we're trying to learn. So to me, I think codependency is a really interesting word. And I love that you're having this summit, Karen, because it presents that we become dependent on what we're trying to receive. But the real gift is that we don't need to receive it from someone outside of us, whether it's a situation or a person or an action or behavior. It's really becoming dependent within ourselves, realizing we need to give it to ourselves first. And by doing that, we're actually becoming more empowered because we're filling up our love tank inside. We're now full. So now when my husband, for example, looks at me and he says, oh, you look fabulous tonight, I can hear it. It can go in and stay in because I'm already full. And I can say, wow, that's really nice of you to say that, sweetie. But it's not because I needed it to like put a bandage over my wound. I'm already healed. I see myself as this wonderful wife that I know I bring to our relationship, mother of our children, all that we've done in our life, all of this stuff I can see and value in myself. And this lesson that I learned about that we are perfect within ourselves and to see our greatness, to see our soul and to see our gifts that we've been given, that we become powerful beyond measure, which is my new book, #1 bestseller, Powerful Beyond Measure. And this book helps you, takes you through the process of identifying the emotional wound we take it from a child, that the part that we're learning and growing from, to identify it, to see how it's played repetitively throughout our life in all our relationships and actions, and how you could take action steps to change that codependency, to be empowered, to be independent, to be powerful within yourself, that allows you then to be powerful outside of yourself in a very profound and really impactful way in your life.
Absolutely. So the synopsis of that is once you are 100% full yourself and you're meeting your own needs, basically is what you're saying, you know, in many ways, then you have since you now are a whole person and full person, you now can give to others in a much more graceful way without having the hook of the expectation or the hook that, for lack of a better word, that you want people to do for you, for instance, right?
Yes, but it's also to allow yourself to then receive. See, so often, especially women are always nurturers. We tend to do. We're doers, we're nurturers, we're lovers, and we're always taking in more responsibility. What more can I do? What more can I do? What more can we do? And sometimes the more we do, the more we feel depleted. And so, because we're still trying, we're doing because we're receiving something in exchange. That's that codependency. We're doing this act of kindness, and it can still be of love and kindness. But is there a hook, as you said, Karen, that we're doing it to claim something back? And when we can see ourselves as this beautiful power within ourselves, this wonderful spirit, this energy of who you are, and you come to love and really admire, then you can open yourself up to allow yourself to give, but also you've taken down all your walls, and now you're allowing people to come into your life and to give to you and allow you to receive. And often women find it very hard to receive. And it can be as simple as, Karen, is that a beautiful scarf you're wearing, your black and white gray scarf?
Yes, ma'am, it is.
It is. It really looks lovely with your black outfit and your darker hair. It really makes your eyes pop with your mascara. It looks great.
Thank you so much. That's very kind of you.
Yeah. And you can see how Karen took that in. Well, most of us, when people give a compliment, they say, oh, this is nothing. I just pulled this out of the closet, or yeah, but it's got a rip in here, or it's got pilling, or I don't look as good as I wish I'd had. We kind of just smack them in the face with a compliment and don't even know how to receive it because we don't open ourselves to hearing and ingesting acts of kindness. And we're not doing it because we're dependent on it. We need that codependency, but because we can learn to give and receive unconditionally with no controls as to why you're doing it. It's coming from a place of fullness, as you mentioned earlier.
Very well, very, very well worded. So what that instantly made me think of was okay, so then that can be confused sometimes with the women or people that give to get. So you're saying give to receive, but yeah, there's a difference between giving to receive versus giving to get. Do you know what I'm saying there?
And I wouldn't even say give to receive, because then that would be a hook. If I give this, then they'll owe me and they'll give me back at some point. And that's self-serving, that's egotistical, that's codependent again. So when you are complete within yourself, when you learn to love and see yourself as this beautiful light being that you are, and it starts with your own ownership of that. Karen, you can't make me feel that I'm wonderful, I'm a great person, I have a wonderful passion and purpose, I love to touch the world, I love my book, I love all this that I'm doing and coaching. I can't make you make me feel that I love that. I have to feel it from the inside out. And so all of you need to awaken to this power within, which I refer to in my book, this power that's yours, that's innate, that if you believe in God, God has born you. You are his child. And he didn't make one child greater than another. Every one of his children are equal in sight and in value and in love and in your gifts. And it's for us to awaken to that power within, to see our gifts, that we give freely and nurture them and develop them and give them freely. And when you can live from a place of freedom, and I think it's so important, freedom, because then you're not dependent on receiving or giving. You're just living your truth, and you're expressing your energy, your spiritual energy out without a give and take. It's just you're living your space. And when you live in that universal energy flow of just completeness. I'm just being who I am, God's child, loving, trusting, believing that God is pushing me to the path I'm supposed to be taking with the people and the different actions, so guided that I can just be happy. So if Karen walks into my life, which she did ask me to be a speaker on this, it was divinely connected. That, yes, she made the call, or yes, she sent the email, but she was following her intuition. She was being led. Now, we all have free will, and you have a choice. Do I make that phone call? Do I send that email? Do I make the decision to take the new job? All of these things are free choice, okay? And God gives us that ability, even from Adam, to choose, what do I do, what do I not do? But when you start to listen to your heart, to your intuition, which is your spirit, which is your soul, that's telling you and directing you what this earthly life is supposed to present so that you can learn and grow and be your greatest whole person, that's when your life transforms in ways that our limited mind cannot even imagine. It's truly amazing. So there's no dependency on anyone. It's really a freedom of being who you are, your true expression of yourself. And with that, you can coexist in all forms of life and in all types of areas of your life.
So that's a huge bunch of information right there, to be honest. I mean, that's a lot to take in. And so how do we handle the woman that's saying to herself right now, oh my gosh, I want to do this. It sounds so lovely and it sounds like it's what I'm looking for, but I'm so busy. I'm multitasking. I'm a mom that has a job and I come home and I'm rushed and everything. I actually, I'm giving until I fall over on the bed and I'm done. How do they learn to take the steps towards this whole self here?
Perfect question. But let's just do that. Right now, everyone, just take a deep breath in and blow out. And really make it audible on the out, because you're releasing stress. And remember, the stress that you're experiencing is produced by only one person, yourself. And by saying to yourself, I am physically taking on too much. Okay, the kids aren't saying I have to bathe everyone the same night. The kids aren't saying that the homework has to be done before we have supper. Okay, this is all demands I'm putting on myself. So how can I empower myself, reduce some of my stress, to see that I am a wonderful mother and I am balancing a lot. But what can I do to minimize or organize it where I can honor my space? Do meal preparation for supper, let's say, with more ease. So maybe that means you play beautiful music when you're preparing dinner. And during this half an hour prep time, the kids are not allowed to come in the kitchen. I'm just giving an example. They must be in their room, either cleaning their room up, doing their homework, picking up the toys, depending on the ages, whatever it is. And that this is your time to come home from work, de-stress, enjoy your kitchen, enjoy your meal preparation time, and know that when we all come together and sit as a family to eat, to nourish our body and heart, that the nourishment that I felt myself during the meal preparation went into the food to create love and healing and health for our whole family as a dynamic whole, individually, and that when we come together, I'm now relaxed, where I can be very interested in each of my children and my husband and have really wonderful positive exchanges energetically and emotionally where you can connect. See how there's a whole different energy shift there in meal prep and got to do this, got to do that?
Absolutely. So that was it felt very calming and freeing. So how do we handle this gal that's going to say, but, and then she's going to say, I feel selfish.
No, but you're not, because as parents, let's stay with this. As parents, your ultimate goal is to raise independent children. So giving the children, whatever their ages are, a half an hour of independence where they have responsibilities to do, what are you doing? You're telling them, I trust you. I believe in you. I know you can do these tasks. And you also can benefit from some alone time to self-reflect, to self-harmonize, to grow and see that you can aspire and accomplish these things too. So you're empowering your children just as much as you're empowering yourself.
So in the end, it's really not selfish at all. It's a good thing. And you're actually doing a good thing when you're taking that time to yourself and making food.
Exactly. It's actually so vital, and it's healthy for everyone.
Yes. See, that's what I think a lot of women that are in the codependent state feel. They feel that doing something for themselves and creating that boundary, which is what that is. Hey, you can't come in the kitchen when I'm making dinner. That's a boundary. They feel like they're taking, or they feel like they're selfish, and they feel like they're such sacrificing people that they end up feeling like I can't do this because then I would be feeling selfish. And so turning it around and making it sound a positive is really a great thing to do. I appreciate that.
I mean, you can actually hear, like you said, Karen, you could hear the energy shift of how she framed her whole participation in meal prep. It wasn't stressful anymore. It was, I need some quiet time coming out of work to collect myself, to de-stress and process what happened at the professional world, transition into motherhood and the role I want to be as a mother, loving and caring and interactive with my child. And that after the meal's done, then we can have crazy fun time all together doing the dishes and bringing over the dishes and putting them in the dishwasher and however you want to make that fun and interactive. But, and that's just one example. You have to individually find out what it is, your area, that you're looking outside of yourself to fill a void. And when you can articulate that, and sometimes just working with me one coaching call, we can articulate that. And by identifying it, as soon as that raises its ugly head, you then will have learned many, many different ways that you can stop it and integrate it and take action steps to stop it from controlling you and putting you in that codependency again, which is going to negatively impact your life.
Absolutely. And so really, to be honest, women do need to establish their correct behaviors and correct boundaries in order to just gain themselves back, which is going to help them, oh yeah, full circle, be less codependent, and now they're full. They're full now.
Yeah. And I think that we tend to think of growing as a task. It's a job. It's almost like we're running a marathon. The exhausted woman that you just talked about, the mother and the professional person, and all these demands we place on ourselves, that it's exhausting. And you're running this marathon and you're like, I don't think I'll ever get to the finish point. And if I do, I'm definitely not going to be first place. I'm just trying to survive and not pass out. How exhausting. That's the way we're living our life. I mean, why do we want to live a life like that? I mean, so what you need to do or marathon, if you will, is to learn what it is that I need to grow and learn from. And to say, I'm going to prepare for this, excited and really to claim my victory in my small little growth spurts. And those are the things you want to identify. So it's really fun, exciting, and it's all how your perspective on things. You've got to change that perspective.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So for the women that are maybe not so busy, but they're maybe stay-at-home women, and they have their children, which is a phenomenal job, and they depend too much on when the husband comes home from work, for instance, and all of a sudden, like, here, have the kids, here, take this, and here, take that. And they kind of dump on him, and he's not had any personal time yet either. How would you help them to just learn to maybe not feel so sometimes resentful, because again, that's just a little bit of a toxic behavior that he is going away from work to work, and then you're staying home, but yet it's a choice you made. Do you have any quick insight for that?
Yeah. I had 2 children, and I had my own career. And then when they were young, I kind of worked part-time. So I made my own hours, but I loved being a mother, staying at home. Again, you have a choice Do you want to enjoy being a mother staying home, or you don't? If you don't want to stay home, go get a job. Because why do something that you're not happy doing? That's like saying, I'm not following my heart. If you're not enjoying, it doesn't mean you don't love your children. But if you really need the financial resources to have a second job, or you hold it against them, I really don't want to be here. I want to be advancing in my career, and I'm resenting being home for these 4 or 5 years until you get into school. How is that healthy for the children if you're really making it negative against them? So again, learning to understand who you are. What is your heart's desire? What is it that you want? What's your perception on the action and the situation you're involved in? Is learning to be truthful to yourself. And you need to discover that truth. You know, just because your husband says, you know, we hear that children are much more educational, very much more successful in life if they have a stay-at-home mother. I can afford to do that. Why don't you stay at home? And he kind of just puts you in a peg box. This is where you're going to be. This is your role for the next 5 or 6 years. But if that's not you, then maybe you need to have a voice and say, you know, I absolutely love my children. But, you know, if I'm going to be resentful all day long hearing you getting your raises and your promotions and going on this trip and that, and I'm stuck to diapers and, you know, play groups, and I love that part, but there's still something missing. You're dishonoring yourself. And so you need to take back your power, your own power within, and become powerful beyond measure, because it'll allow you to be happier, healthier, and allow the dynamics within your family to be much more healthy.
Absolutely. And your book resonates that so much. It's so good. So I know you have a free gift also for this audience. It's Heart Home of Healing Meditation. Would you like to explain that?
Sure. So as I was saying, we all have this emotional energy, emotional memories that we take on from our childhood and bring into our lives, and it continues to repeat its patterning. So there is an energetic imprint that we have in ourselves. Sometimes you might have stomach problems. If you feel powerless, you might have stomach problems. If you have no voice, or you'll have throat problems. If you have shoulder problems, it might be because you're carrying the weight of everybody else on you. So there's different parts in our body we feel the energy from our past. So our heart is our feeling organ. So what I do is I bring you through this beautiful guided meditation that takes you into your heart, all the emotional debris that we carry, the energy. And we go through the 4 chambers of your heart, and you actually do house cleaning. We actually release all this energy that's negative and toxic, and actually producing unhealthiness in your body, and it may even be showing up in a physical way, even to this day. So you'll go in and you'll do all this inner housekeeping and releasing, and then we fill it back up with love and light and this beautiful peace and calmness within your heart, that when you breathe in, goes in through your lungs, and then all goes out and travels through your body, and it creates inner healing and outer healing. I have people say after that meditation, my migraine was gone for 3 months. You know, it's just amazing what happens during this meditation. So I know, Karen, you have the link on the page below, but it's, my website is CindyMazzaferro.com, and it's, then you go / Heart Home of Healing Meditation. And it's yours for free, and it's so powerful and really can totally transform your life. So I encourage you all to participate.
Well, that is a wonderful gift, and I hope people take advantage of that, because that sounds refreshing to me. I want to go grab the link. Well, thank you so much for being with us today, Cindy. I really appreciate all your very valuable information, and I look forward to talking to you really soon. I'm going to say goodbye to everybody. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.